order. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Representative Flannel.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Schiebel, please call the roll.
Representatives Bacon, AML Bacon, she's here. Barone, Basenecker, Bottoms, Bradfield, Bradley, Brooks, Brown, Representative Brown, excused. Caldwell, Camacho, Carter, Clifford, DeGraff, Duran, English, Espinoza, Foray, Flannel, Froelich, Garcia, Garcia Sander, Gilchrist, Goldstein, Gonzalez, Hamrick, Hartsook, Jackson, Johnson, Joseph, Kelty, Leader, Lindsay, Luck, Lukens, Mabry, Representative Mabry, he'll be around, is excused. Marshall, Martinez, Morrow, McCormick, Wynn, Pascal, Phillips, Richardson, Ricks, Rutinel, Ryden, Sirota, Slaw, Smith, Soper, Stewart K, Stewart R, Story, Sukla,
Here, George.
Taggart, Titone, Valdez A, Velasco, Weinberg, Wilford is here, Winter, Woodrow, Woog, Zokai, and Madam Speaker.
Forget what I told you just a while ago on the signature. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll put your name on it, but no.
Thank you.
With 63 present, 2 excused, we do have a quorum. Representative Flannel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the Journal of Tuesday, February 24th of 2026 be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
Members, you have heard the motion that the journal be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk. All those in favor say aye. All those in favor say aye. Thank you. All those opposed, no? The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Members, I will invite you to take your seats. We are proceeding to business this morning. Thank you. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to proceed out of order for consideration of memorials.
Seeing no objection, we will proceed out of order for consideration of memorial. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Memorial 1001.
House Memorial 1001 by Representatives Lukens and Soper, memorializing former Representative Dan Williams.
Representative Lukens.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the adoption of House Memorial 261001 and ask that it be read at length.
Mr. Schiebel, please read our memorial.
Whereas Daniel Earl Williams, the former representative, departed this life on October 23, 2025 at the age of 78. And whereas Representative Williams was born on April 15, 1947 in Denver, Colorado to Dale and Margaret Williams. And whereas Representative Williams began his education in Colorado's Eagle Valley, attending the University of Northern Colorado for a brief period, and later attended the John F. Kennedy School of Government, Harvard University in 1988 to refine his political instincts. And whereas Representative Williams began his career in agriculture as a partner with his father on the Williams Ranch in Edwards, Colorado, later purchasing the ranch from his father and operating it as a successful cattle and sheep operation. And whereas Representative Williams was the father of two children, Jeff and Dana, who were raised on the family's ranch. And whereas Representative Williams was a member of the Eagle County Wool Growers Association, the Colorado Wool Growers Association, the Colorado Cattlemen's Association, and the Colorado Farm Bureau. And whereas not only was Representative Williams a good steward of the land and the animals he raised, he was a man of incredible integrity and demonstrated a keen knowledge of issues impacting Colorado ranchers and business owners. He believed in a life of public service and valued his family. Many called him a dear friend and confidant. And whereas Representative Williams was elected as Eagle County Commissioner in 1976 and served 2 four-year terms. And whereas Representative Williams was elected to the Colorado House of Representatives in 1984 and served 4 two-year terms representing House District 58, including Routt, Moffett, Eagle, Jackson, and Grand counties. And whereas, as a member of the Colorado House of Representatives, Representative Williams served as chair of the House Transportation and Energy Committee, chair of the House Agriculture, Livestock, and Natural Resources Committee, vice chair of the House State Affairs Committee, chair of the Interim Legislative Committee on Water Quality and Water Resources, and chair of the Highway Legislative Review Committee. And whereas Representative Williams was also appointed to the State Board of Equalization and served on the Colorado Governor's AIDS Council. And whereas during his time in the legislature, Representative Williams supported the interests of many Western Slope communities, championing water and land use rights, oil and gas interests, and transportation issues. And whereas Representative Williams was a member of the Roundup Riders of the Rockies and named 1985 Colt of the Year, the town of Avon honored Representative Williams as a citizen of the Valley with a bronze portrait. He served as a trustee on the board of the National Western Stock Show Association, and in 2019, he was inducted into the Colorado FFA Agricultural Hall of Fame. And whereas after leaving the legislature, Representative Williams applied his political and legislative experience as a partner in a government relations consulting business from 1993 to 2019 with Stan Sowers, Laura Locke, and his partner Bob Simpson, representing the Colorado Cattlemen's Association, Colorado Wool Growers Association, Colorado Beer Distributors Association, the Colorado Farm Credit, Colorado River Water Conservation District, Williams Energy Pipeline Midstream, Mile High Racing and Entertainment, and many other clients along the way. And whereas Representative Williams, whether as an elected official or lobbyist, was known by his colleagues and friends as a fierce advocate for Colorado's agriculture industry. And whereas Representative Williams was known to be fair and honest. He knew when to compromise and was recognized as an effective legislator and lobbyist by his constituents, clients, and colleagues. And whereas Representative Williams was a mentor to a number of individuals who have made their careers in politics, instilling in them the need to work honestly, maintain integrity, and always respect the institution of the General Assembly and the legislative process. And whereas at the time of his death, Representative Williams was living in Scottsdale, Arizona, enjoying a well-deserved retirement and his passions for travel and music. And whereas Representative Williams is survived by his partner Bob Simpson, his 2 children, Jeff Williams and Dana Williams, his sister Donna Parker, and his cousin Sue Tolvo. Now therefore be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the 75th General Assembly of the State of Colorado that in the death of Representative Don Williams, the people of the state of Colorado have lost a devoted public servant and an outstanding citizen, and that we, the members of the 75th General Assembly, pay tribute to Dan Williams for years of dedicated public service and extend our deep and heartfelt sympathy to the members of the family.
Representative Lukens.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We are actually going, in order to tell you more about the amazing person that Rep. Williams was, we're actually going to start by showing a video that I've been granted permission to show.
I grew up in Edwards, Colorado. I'm a native, and on a ranch there that was in the family for 4 generations. Lake Creek at Edwards, Colorado is fairly mountainous, as you know. And so it was an irrigated ranch where we put up hay all summer and fed it out all winter. Getting into politics wasn't a dream or an aspiration. I was talking to a rancher friend of mine when I was about 29 years old, and I was complaining about the county commissioners in Eagle County. And so he said, well, if you're so smart, why don't you run? Ranching was still one of the 3 legs of the economy in Eagle County. I was vitally interested in trying to make sure that agriculture could continue in agriculture. Moving on in politics, at least for me, wasn't a grand plan. In 1984, I went to the Capitol from Eagle County, and I represented Moffett, Routt, Grand, Jackson, and Eastern Eagle counties in the legislature. After I left the legislature, I just naturally was lucky enough to find some various clients that wanted to hire me as a lobbyist. Colorado Cattlemen, Colorado Wool Growers, Colorado Horse Council. We have put our shoulders to the wheel under the leadership of some tremendous people and organizations in Colorado to make sure that Colorado's agriculture will be part of the fundamental economy for Colorado.
The one thing rural Colorado always needed, there weren't enough of us, and we had to stick together. And Danny Williams kind of kept us all stuck together. When I retired from the General Assembly, I was appointed Commissioner of Agriculture by then Governor Owens. And of course, one of the things I worried about was what kind of support the Department of Agriculture and the agriculture community would have at the General Assembly. Well, I had a little deal made in heaven. Danny Williams was over there watching everything going on every single day.
He was a leader without being, the one in front all the time. We call that being a workhorse instead of a show horse, and that was kind of Danny's style.
Agriculture's always had a unique base in Colorado, and what Danny's done very successful is to carry that forward into more modern times. Always be honest, always have integrity, do business as a statesperson. He's been really successful in making sure that agriculture is predominantly a nonpartisan industry, the beef industry is. He's also been instructional with us that, if the industry has disagreements, they shouldn't fight about those in public. We shouldn't take those to the State House. You solve those issues before you get there, and then you come in as a united voice amongst agriculture.
I think that serving in politics at any level is a great opportunity for the individual. Moreover, it's a great opportunity for our republic. At the end of the day, it was to try to forward your agenda, but do it respectfully and in a way that you haven't infringed on the integrity of the process, because after all, that's all we're going to leave our future generations to come, is this wonderful, wonderful process. As discouraging as it is sometimes, it's still the best thing in the world.
Representative Soper.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, you may be seated. I'm probably one of the few members serving who actually knew Danny Williams. I was an aide in 2005 for then State Senator Jack Taylor from Steamboat Springs and Ron Tech from Grand Junction. And Jack Taylor worked quite closely with the cattlemen's and the wool growers, and of course Danny Williams being the lobbyist for them. I'll never forget, I wanted to share one story about Danny Williams. It was perhaps the first or second day of the 2005 legislative session. This was also pre-Amendment 41. We went out with the cattlemen's to a nice steakhouse. And being a young college kid, I didn't realize that they were probably going to pick up the tab. So I look at the menu of this expensive Denver steakhouse. I'm like, oh man, I can't afford anything on this menu. So I ordered a side salad. And Jack Taylor looked over at me and he's like, I was probably half the weight that I am now. He said, I'm not going to have my aide waft away in the wind because he's not eating. So he cuts half his steak and puts it on my plate. Danny Williams was sitting to my right, and he said, well, I don't necessarily need a full steak, so he cut half of his, put it on my plate, and I'll tell you what, I ate really well that day. But Danny Williams was a true statesman, and he was an advocate for the Western way of life, for the cattleman industry, for agriculture, but for Colorado as a whole. And to be able to have known him in a professional capacity is truly an honor. And I also want to point out that a connection to Delta County as well. So there's kind of a double connection there. I will say that, thinking about people that I knew from the session when I was an aide, Danny Williams is probably one of only a couple that stands out in my mind today. And that speaks a lot to who he was. You would pass him by, and he would always have a word of advice, much like what you saw in the video, that we may not like the outcomes of our Republican system of government, but it's the best system we have. And he would instill things like that over and over again. It's sad that we're here today memorializing him, but also it's an opportunity to reflect and to remember someone who was truly one of the good guys. And I'm very fortunate to have known him, and can't say enough good things about him.
Representative Lukens.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I have the honor of serving the same areas once represented by Representative Danny Williams. Though I never actually had the privilege of meeting Representative Williams, I feel a sense of camaraderie with him as a public servant bound by the same community. And going through this process, preparing for this memorial, I have absolutely loved learning about his life. Danny Williams grew up on the Williams Ranch along Lake Creek in Edwards, which I now represent, where he learned the value of caring for the land and developed a lifelong love for rural Colorado. He served as Eagle County Commissioner in the Colorado House of Representatives, representing Eagle, Grand, Jackson, Moffett, and Routt counties. And his dedication earned him varying acclaims, including the Roundup Riders of the Rockies Colt of the Year in 1985, and he was inducted into the Colorado Agricultural Hall of Fame. He was not only a respected leader and agriculturalist, but a trusted friend to many, a mentor, and a devoted family man. Some of the people who were closest to Representative Williams and those who worked alongside him are here today. I'm going to recognize them and ask them to stand up when I say their name, and let's hold our applause until I get through the list, please. His daughter, Dana Williams. His partner, Bob Simpson. Former lobbying partner, Laura Fields. Former lobbyist and colleague Becky Brooks, former representatives and senators Norma Anderson and Lois Toctro, Donetta Davidson, former Secretary of State, Steve Holdren, colleague and friend, Pam Inman, colleague and friend, and I think that is my list. Thank you for being here today and welcome. And
Representative
thank you, Madam
Lukens.
Speaker, and also the Board of Directors and staff for the Colorado Cattlemen's Association, a longtime client of Representative Williams. It is a privilege to support this memorial and celebrate a life deeply intertwined with the heart of Colorado, and I ask for your yes vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of House Memorial 1001. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Richardson and Story. Story is excused. Story, Representative Story, that'll be a $5 fine. Please close the machine. With 65 ayes, 0 no, and 0 excused, House Memorial 1001 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Members, we will stand in a 5-minute recess so that we may greet our guests. The House will come back to order. Members, we are going to start with announcements and introductions this morning. Representative Soper is coming. Other announcements and introductions. Representative Mabry. Oh, yes, and then Titone. Representative Mabry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Judiciary Committee members, at 1:30 in room 107, we will be hearing House Bill 1089, House Bill 1189, House Bill 1134, and House Bill 1037. Please be on time. We will be in room 107 and expect to stay late.
Thank you. Representative Soper.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I think Representative Johnson was also going to join me wherever she is.
Representative Johnson.
Members, if I could get your attention for just a brief moment here.
Representative Soper, one moment. Thank you, members. Please proceed, Representative Soper.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I also just wanted to introduce, we have some special guests in the gallery here today. We have the Canadian Consul General, and I'll have her stand along with her team, Sarah Quigley. Sarah's the new Consul General of Canada. Their office is here in Denver for the entire Rocky Mountain region, representing Canada to the United States. And Sarah previously was posted in Australia and at the embassy within Washington, D.C. I did just want to quickly read 10 fun facts about Canada that everyone should know. Colorado sells $1.6 billion worth of goods to Canada annually, and Colorado buys $5.4 billion in goods from Canada. Canada is currently Colorado's second largest export market. We need to fix that. Almost 500 Canadian-owned businesses employ 22,000 workers here in Colorado. Colorado and Canada trade more than $700 million in agricultural products alone. And since 1958, our two countries have worked together to defend the continent through NORAD down in Colorado Springs, the North American Aerospace Defense Command. This includes over 300 Canadian military and their families stationed at NORAD in Colorado Springs. And of course, Colorado relies on Canadian athletes to help win in the Avalanche, the Nuggets, and our brand new Denver FC team. And I did tell the Consul General earlier that had a recent Olympic showdown between Canada and the U.S. gone the wrong way, their invite might have been changed. Just kidding, just kidding. Please welcome them to the chamber.
Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And there is an 11th fact, just because I have to add, for cattle on our feedlots, Colorado and Canadian cattle go 5 to 6 times across the border until they're ready for production, and then we're able to eat them or use the leather. So I had to add that because Colorado works directly with Canada on some of our cattle feedlots. Thank you, Canada Consulate General, so much for hosting me last year. I got to visit Edmonton on behalf of the state to look at carbon capture, energy. We talked about agriculture, and then we did derail into education and some healthcare aspects. So thank you so much. Appreciate the partnership and that you're here today.
Thank you. Representative Titone.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, room 352 upstairs, Joint Technology Committee was going to be speaking about the IT capital and referred operating budget requests and committee discussion on a draft bill. Be there at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Thank you. Representative Espinoza.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today to welcome members from HD4 who are part of Girls, Inc. Girls, Inc. is a organization in my district which serves young women. And what they do is they're a youth organization that inspires girls to be strong, smart, and bold through research-based programs, mentorship, and a pro-girl environment, focusing on whole girl development in areas like STEM, leadership, and well-being for girls first grade through college. So I welcome our members from Girls, Inc. today who are in the gallery.
Representative Barone.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, it is my sincere privilege here to acknowledge a group of women that are joining us today. We have the Colorado Women Chamber of Commerce here in the gallery here today. Thank you. They have over 100 hardworking women here today, and I didn't know this, but it's also Women's History Month, so whenever you have a chance, say hi to them. Thank you.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today I want to recognize Professor Katie Dickinson from my district and her students who are visiting the Capitol from the Colorado School of Public Health and CU Anschutz. It's great to have them in the building and talking about public health with all of us. So look forward to seeing them around, and make sure to say hi.
Thank you. Representative DeGraff.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I don't really have anything. I was just standing over there and got kind of pulled into the line. So, good morning. I will add to the Canadian facts that I did live in Canada for 3 years and was invited to play hockey for the Canadians and fly for them. So it was great.
Outstanding, Representative DeGraff. I'm sure they'd welcome you if you'd like to move back there. All in fun, all in fun. Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I hear... Okay. Hi. Hello, everyone. If you are on the Energy and Environment Committee, we have committee today upon adjournment. We will meet 15 minutes upon adjournment to hear House Bill 1112. We will be in the Old State Library today, so we'll see you about 15 minutes after adjournment.
Representative Goldstein.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There are some yellow bags on everybody's desks. They are from Advocates for Public Education Policy, a group of nonpartisan folks who really care a lot about public education, to celebrate National Public Schools Week this week. So enjoy the little gifts in your bag.
Representative Lukens.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The House Education Committee will be meeting 10 minutes upon adjournment in room 107. We will be hearing House Bill 1055 and 1078.
Thank you. Representative Froelich.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Transportation, Housing, and Local Government Committee will meet in LSBA at 1:30 today to hear 4 bills, 1127, 1061, 1201, and 1095 for action only.
Thank you. Representative Stewart.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to let everybody know that the Colorado Pharmacists Society is here today in the gallery and around the Capitol, so welcome them.
Thank you. Representative Gilchrist.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Health and Human Services Committee will meet at 1:30 to hear bills 1085 and 1107 for action only, and then 1044 and a Senate Bill 32 today. Thank you so much. We'll see you there.
Thank you. AML Bacon.
Don't get me started. Sorry. Thank you, members. We just want to share another announcement and invite you out on Thursday. Thank you, colleague. On your desk, you see the flyer for our wonderful food event on Thursday. And today we encourage you, if you have time, to take a look at that QR code to learn a little bit about soul food and the history. The event is on Thursday, that is tomorrow, from 12 to 1:30 in the West Foyer. The Black Caucus is inviting you to our Taste the Diaspora food event. We also encourage you all, when you come down tomorrow, to just have your badge on and that your staff have their badge on so we can prioritize that you all get a wonderful plate. So members, please take a little time, if you've got some downtime, to look up what the history is of soul food. And the event is, again, tomorrow, Thursday, from 12 to 1:30 in the West Foyer. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Representative English.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, our Hidden Figures presented by the Black Caucus is the Negro Baseball League. The Negro Leagues were professional baseball leagues formed in the early 20th century to give black players opportunities during a time when Major League Baseball was segregated. beginning in 1920 with the founding of the Negro National League by Ruby Foster. These leagues showcase some of the most talented athletes in baseball history. Teams like the Kansas City Monarchs, Homestead Grays, and Chicago American Giants drew large crowds and demonstrated incredible skill, strategy, and athleticism. Beyond the game, the leagues became cultural and economic hubs for black communities, offering jobs, entertainment, and pride during an era of systemic racism. The Negro Leagues also produced legendary players such as Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, and Cool Papa Bell, who paved the way for the integration of Major League Baseball. Jackie Robinson, who broke the color barrier in 1947, began his career in the Negro Leagues, highlighting their role as a proving ground for black talent. The leagues challenged racial segregation in sports and inspired generations of African American athletes to pursue their dreams. Today, the Negro Leagues are celebrated for the historic contributions to baseball and American culture, symbolizing resilience, talent, and the fight for equality. Happy Black History Month.
Thank you. Thank you, members. Representative Ricks.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Business Affairs and Labor will meet 15 minutes upon adjournment. We're going to be hearing one bill, House Bill 261133, Traveling Animal Protection Act. See you there.
Thank you. Representative McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Find me as you see fit, because I did not sign up to make this announcement.
$1.
Thank you. I wanted to announce that there are fourth graders here from my district, from Blue Mountain Elementary. Apparently, there are 84 fourth graders here with 13 chaperones. I don't know if they're in the gallery today, right now, but please welcome them from Longmont. So thank you.
Thank you, Representative. And Representative, Smith. Representative Smith.
I owe you $1.
Yes, I marked it.
Just want to remind everyone today at noon, we are going to have a plug-in solar unit for everyone to see, and everyone can buy one hopefully after our bill passes tomorrow. Well, at least the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Smith. Representative Lindsay and Representative Joseph. Do we have some singing to do today?
Hello.
Yes, Representative Joseph.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well, today we're celebrating a birthday, and I sit next to Representative Leader. We would like to celebrate you today.
Capitol Choir.
Please come up front, and Capitol Choir. Come down, Capitol Choir, to celebrate Rep. Leader's birthday. Come on down. Come on down, please. Come on down. Representative Leader, please take your throne right here, right up front. Capitol Choir, join us down for Rep. Leader's birthday. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sheila. Happy birthday to you.
We need singing lessons. Members, we are proceeding to third readings.
I didn't get one. No,
Please take your seats. Thank you, members. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1017.
House Bill 1017 by Representatives Espinoza and Zokai, also Senator Weissman, concerning prohibiting an insurer from receiving restitution through the criminal restitution process.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1017 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1017 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Bottoms, Brown, Winter. Representative Bottoms is excused. Please close the machine. With 44 aye, 20 no, and 1 excused, House Bill 1017 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1114.
House Bill 1114 by Representative Stewart R. Woodrow, also Senator Ball, concerning an allowed minimum lot size for subject jurisdictions.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1114 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1114 on third reading, final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 38 aye, 26 no, and 1 excused, House Bill 1114 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over House Bill 1099 until tomorrow.
Seeing no objection, House Bill 1099 will be laid over until tomorrow. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1103.
House Bill 1103 by Representatives Garcia and Goldstein, also Senator Cutter, concerning amending specific legal processes for certain vulnerable populations.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1103 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1103 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Ricks, please close the machine. With 64 ayes, 0 no, 1 excused, House Bill 1103 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1146.
House Bill 1146 by Representatives Phillips and Hamrick, also Senators Colker and Kipp, concerning allowing approved facility schools to affiliate with the Public Employees Retirement Association.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1146 on third reading and final passage.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1146 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Garcia. Please close the machine. With 53 aye, 12 no, and 0 excused, House Bill 1146 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1180.
House Bill 1180 by Representatives Marshall and Gonzalez, also Senator Henriksen, concerning the continuation of the Business Intelligence Center Advisory Board and in connection therewith implementing the recommendation of the Department of Regulatory Agencies 2025 Sunset Report by repealing the advisory board.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1180 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1180 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 65 ayes, 0 noes, 0 excused, House Bill 1180 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that the following bills be made special orders on February 25th, 2026 at 10 a.m. House Bill 1010, House Bill 1031, House Bill 1024, and House Bill 1023.
Seeing no objection, the bills listed by the Majority Leader will be made special orders on February 25th at 10 a.m. Representative Zokai. Members, you have heard the motion. Seeing no objection, Representative Zokai will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there is a request for reading a bill at length. Committee reports are printed and in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen on iLegislate and in today's folder on your box account. Bills will be laid over upon motion of the majority leader, and the coat rule is relaxed. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1010.
House Bill 1010 by Representatives Wilford and Jackson, also Senator Danielson, concerning increasing support for older adults in the workforce.
Representative Wilford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We move House Bill 1010 and the Business Committee report.
To the committee report.
All right. Thank you very much, members. In the committee, we adopted an amendment that basically suggested, or I'm sorry, let me start over. Need more coffee. In committee, we adopted an amendment that changed the age in the bill from 60 to 55 and allowed for additional flexibility for the Workforce Development Council and the Colorado Commission on Aging to collaborate and to coordinate. Additionally, we would like, I keep saying we, but I move amendment L4 and ask that it be properly displayed.
Great, that's proper motion. All right. That is properly displayed. Continue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We had a change in voice there. I got confused for a second. So, members, this amendment comes from a very long conversation with the governor's office as well as community colleges and other stakeholders to address some ongoing concerns. First, it will make the governor's appointments to the commission permissive. And then secondly, it will take out the community colleges within the bill from having to include older adult representation on their board, which I just want to quickly launch. I'm not happy with. And then in section 7, the amendment will establish a advisory role and a non-voting member specifically for an older adult who's at least 55 years old and is either actively involved or has interest, knowledge, or experience in advocating for the interests of individuals engaged in higher education. And we do ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment? Representative Kelty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do want to ask the bill sponsors. So, before I want to know before when the bill first came to us, who was the appointing person, and is it the governor is now saying he wants to be the appointing person?
Representative Wilford.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Yes, so the governor appoints all of the members on these individual boards. We didn't change that at all.
Representative Kelty.
Thank you. So I just want, because it didn't, I mean, the language wasn't in there before, so if he already appointed them, why does he want it added in there if that's something he already did?
Representative Wilford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the governor appoints all members to boards and commissions at the state level, and what we did in the bill is say that the governor may appoint somebody who is 55 years old or has experience, knowledge, advocating for older adults. And so we're changing a must or shall to a may. So it's not required, it's an option.
Representative Kelty.
Okay. I'm sorry, I have so many dialogue. So what you're saying is before it was a must, but now it's saying he may do it, or there may be another option other than him to be able to put that person, or is it that he? I just want to know: was it before that he had to do it before, or he had the option, and now we're taking that option away, and he's going to do it?
Representative Wilford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So
Previously in the bill, we said he must appoint somebody who is 55 years or older and has knowledge or experience in advocating for and working with older adults. And now what we're saying is the governor may appoint somebody. So instead of requiring him to, we are giving flexibility.
Okay.
All right, is there any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, the question before us is adoption of Amendment L004 to the Business Affairs and Labor Committee report. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. All right. Seeing none, the amendment is adopted. Back to the committee report. Representative Jackson?
Okay, so am I moving the bill now? No, we've already moved it.
Representative Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, this bill is really about recognizing the reality of our changing workforce. Our workforce is getting older. People are not being able to retire because of the economic climate that we're in. They're having to work longer, and even if they do retire, are ending up having to get jobs as a result of the affordability crisis that we're in. And this bill really gives them an opportunity to have representation, to have skill training, and also to be able to have a voice in the areas where they are directly impacted, and I would request an aye vote.
All right, is there any further discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is adoption of the Business and Affairs Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. All right, the committee report is adopted. To the bill. Representative Rutherford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We would ask for an aye vote.
Representative Taggart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the work that my colleagues have done on this bill, and I have just entered this club of 55 years plus. But with all due respect, this bill is not needed at all. It truly is not needed at all. Trust me when I say that if you bring expertise from a workforce standpoint, if you bring expertise from an education standpoint, if you bring expertise from an apprentice standpoint, people know that. And they, in fact, seek you out. I don't want somebody to tell the governor, as well as any other boards, you have to select me because I'm 55 years or older. I don't need you to do that. And in fact, you put a person that's 55 years old or older in a difficult position because you have just said to the board, you're on this board because you're 55 and you have some expertise on people aging. But if you look through this bill, there's no specifics, for instance, having to do with the most recent amendment that you know something about higher education. You just need to know the needs of people 55 and older in higher education. Please, don't do this to us. We don't need your help here. We've worked a lifetime to create expertise. My wife would tell you that if I learned to say no sometime in my life, I wouldn't be here, A, and I wouldn't sit on as many boards that I sit on. People seek us out. For goodness sakes, don't force the governor or any other board to bring us on a board just because we're 55 years old or older. This bill is not necessary. Please vote no.
All right. Representative Richardson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I do appreciate the sponsors bringing this forward. I sat in committee and heard this. I appreciate the amendment that aligned the segmentation with BLS reporting and making it a little more streamlined, but this is maybe less of an urging for a vote one way or the other than it is a lament. I mean, the policy does address a true issue that impacts the older segment of our workforce. Those changing careers are returning to the workforce because the current cost of living doesn't match what they planned for in retirement, are struggling. I recognize that. These are real issues. But all segments of our workforce are struggling. Cost of living is high for everybody. A lot of that because of policies that come out of this building. We have businesses that are leaving the state because of the business environment and legal risk environment we've set from this building. And when they leave, they take jobs. And those people that have lost their jobs need our help. We have young folks that are coming into an economy that we never saw when we were young, but one that we're responsible somewhat for setting in place, and they're struggling when it comes to the workforce. So when you highlight one group and devote resources to it, they do benefit, but potentially all those other workers that we've kind of left hanging based on policies that affect business and legal risk in this building are left hanging. So I'm a no vote today, not because I don't supporting our older workforce, but just because everybody needs our help because we've done damage to everybody. Thank you.
Representative Soper.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And members, I also come down here to rise in opposition to this bill. I think it's a good concept to encourage those who are older than 55 to serve on boards, but to be part of the criteria, although I guess it's now a May, so it's kind of a voluntary criteria for the governor. But what I will say is I serve on a number of boards and commissions myself, and I'm definitely not over 55, but what I can tell you is almost every board and commission that I serve on, thank you. Almost every board or commission that I serve on, I'm the youngest. And when I the first board I ever served on was the Delta County Historical Society Museums Board. And I was a senior in high school at the time when they invited me to be on that board. The average age of every other board member was probably in their 60s or 70s. I was invited back to serve on the board again as a legislator, and guess what? I'm still the youngest member of the board, and the other board members are still in their probably 70s and 80s now. And I will say that a lot of boards are that way. I agree with my good colleague from Grand Junction that we should seek out expertise, that those individuals who have an expertise are already being found. The governor's office does a great job of finding people who have deep experience. While I may want to see different people appointed, they do look to experience, and they do look to what qualifications they will bring, whether it's to a college board or to a tourism board. And there's many, many boards that we have in this state. And that age really shouldn't be a guiding factor. If anything, I was joking off to the side, we need more people to serve on boards and commissions who are younger, not necessarily like right out of high school, but we need those who are mid-career, those who are retired. We need boards and commissions that reflect Colorado, but most importantly, we need people who bring experience, who bring skills, who bring talents, who are passionate about serving our state and about the work of the board or the commission that they're appointed to serve on.
Representative Kelty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And as someone who actually is in the crowd of the 55 plus, I want to tell you that I am absolutely in support of this bill. And let me tell you why. This came to my committee, and I have kids right now who they're in their 30s, and they actually think that I should probably eventually soon, very soon, go to a home. I mean, for God's sake, right? If they had their choice, I'd be sipping orange juice somewhere in a garden. Or it does sound good right now, but no, I want to be part of the workforce. I want to be included in the workforce. I want to be heard, and I want people my age and older to be represented. We're not represented. I can tell you, I work in the workforce right now. I don't own my business anymore. I am an employee of a company. And I can tell you all the time with the people, the individuals that I work with, we stay in that position, not because we absolutely love it there and want it to be there all the time. It's because we're afraid of going back out and trying to get another job, competing with the younger generation because of our age. We're like, you know what, they're not going to hire me because I'm too old, you know, and they look at us, a lot of times employers will look at you like, well, they're close to retirement, so do I hire this older person who's closer to retirement for, you know, in 3 or 4 years, or do I hire this younger person who can actually work for the company for 10 to 15 years? It costs money to hire people into your company. It's expensive. So where do you think they're going to put their dime? They're going to go always with the younger generation. But what they're failing to understand is the expertise and the years of experience that an older generation has. And that gets overlooked. And I believe that having someone in our age group, and it's just on a board. It's not, you're not saying you must do this, or it's on a board. And it helps represent and gives a perspective of someone of our age that can be represented. Would you want me to be on a board that made decisions about the Black community or the Hispanic community? Those are communities that I haven't been part of. So it would be better to have someone who knows and experiences and understands what that community represents and what matters to them. Where are the problems? How can they be solved? If you say that the older generation has a lot of experience, they have a lot of knowledge, then let them be part of the boards. Let them be part of the areas that help them get jobs somewhere. Maybe someone wants to come off of Social Security. That saves Social Security right now. Let them contribute to the community. Let them contribute and get off of Medicaid. Let them have employer health insurance. So no, the elder generation, ageism does exist, and by God, we need to have representation. So I am definitely a yes on this, and I, like I said, hire older people. We matter too.
Representative Sukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, Representative Kelty, I hope that you're not put in that nursing home anytime soon. I think of a program that we had for a long time with this issue, and I'm trying to compare the two, and it's called affirmative action. And I want to tell a story, a true story that happened with affirmative action, and it happened to do with a $6 million highway. And what happened was, it was a local contractor. It had affirmative action tied into it. So this is what the contractor did. They went and got a man of color. They said, we're going to start a limited liability company. We're going to, you're going to be the owner of the company. We're going to do the bid. And we're going to give you $100,000 if we get the bid, and then we'll see you later. And that's exactly what happened. I think you should be hired on merit. Thank you.
Is there any further Representative Hartsook?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, contrary to popular belief, even though I did serve in the military for my 26 years, it didn't start at the Civil War. Hey, y'all supposed to laugh. You know, I find legislation like this interesting. Not that I would subscribe to being in the category that we're talking about here. I would deny that till doomsday. But we're supposed to work for everything that we get. You don't get it given to you based on an age or any kind of preference. I've gained a lot of experience. I'm not looking for an entry-level job. Why on earth I raised my hand for this was a whole bunch of other reasons. But those of us that have reached a certain point in life, we're looking back with that experience, and we're not looking to hit an entry-level position or sit on a board and sometimes give our 2 cents for it. We're going to earn our way onto something. If we have something to say, we will go fight for it. I think people should learn to earn everything from the day they start, whatever age, all the way to the day they say, I'm not doing it anymore. We don't need to be appointed because we hit a certain age that we can represent a certain category. We need to go down there and earn that position, fight for that position, and get appointed to that position. It shouldn't be based on age. Thank you.
Representative Kelty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to add 2 cents to that. You know, as a veteran, we get veterans preference in a lot of areas. Why? Because we earned it. And I believe the senior citizens of Colorado have earned that as well. No matter what workforce they're in, no matter where they're at, they've earned it as well. So that's my 2 cents. I vote and I stand for veterans preference and I also stand for senior preference. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on the bill? Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, colleagues, for your feedback about this bill. This bill is about honoring our elders. This bill is about representation. This bill is about acknowledging the valuable wisdom and experience that our elders are bringing to the table. This bill is also about the reality of what's going on in our economy. Let's talk about the numerous constituents that I have who've been looking for jobs for months and months and months and months, only to get passed up over and over and over again for someone in the younger generation. This bill is about putting in protections for those workers. And so when we say that they don't need advocacy and that they can advocate for themselves, that is true. They can advocate for themselves, but this bill is about putting in protections that ensure that they are covered and that they are protected and uplifted and honored. And I would urge a yes vote in support of our aging community who has got to work longer and harder now because of our economy. Thank you.
Representative Taggart. And then
Oh, okay. Sure.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's an honor to serve with you.
ditto.
Let's be real careful about what we say about this bill. This bill has nothing to do with employment. It does not. It has to do with boards. It has nothing to do with employment. Workforce situation is a very different situation as a council than walking into an employer and asking for a job. Please don't conflate those two issues. And to make the statement that this is going to help people 55 years older find jobs, that is not a true statement out of this particular potential legislation. Please, you're going to tell people something that doesn't exist in this. Being a part of the workforce committee or advisory council is very different than walking in the door to try to be hired for a job.
Representative Wilford.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I have to be honest, I'm a little shocked that we are having such a robust debate about a bill that has zero fiscal note and is using existing resources that we have right now to better understand and support people. And the other thing I guess that I would share with you all is that aging is the one thing that every single one of us in this room have in common. We are all aging. And so I want to talk very specifically about what this bill does and what it doesn't do. Number one, the bill is more than just boards and commissions. The bill also asks for the Colorado Commission on Aging and the Colorado Workforce Development Council to pull their staff together, to pull their commissioners together, and to have active conversations about how we are supporting older adults in being a part of Colorado's workforce. Despite being a large portion of Colorado's workforce, it can be challenging for older Coloradans to receive the upskilling or the reskilling that they need for today's workforce. Secondly, this bill does not say anywhere in it, and if you believe that it is exclusively in here, I want you to bring it up here and point it out to me. But there is nowhere in this bill that says that just because you are 55 years old, that you should be appointed to a commission. In fact, what this bill says is that one member at least 55 years old and is a key part of this bill. And is either actively involved or has interest, knowledge, or experience in advocating for the interests of individuals engaged in higher education and who are at least 55 years or older. There is an and, my friends. Because if you know one older adult, that's it. You know one older adult. This is absolutely about making sure that our workforce that is facing bigger and bigger challenges than ever before has all of the knowledge and all of the support of our state to be included in every conversation where they deserve to be included, so that we can develop the right systems, we can develop the right type of education, we can ensure that older adults are not facing challenges unnecessarily. This is not about older adults not having to work. The reality is that just because you had an amazing career and you had incredible experience doesn't mean that everybody else had the same experience. There are a lot of other folks that have to work because Social Security is no longer covering all of their bills anymore. So again, if you know one older adult, you just know one older adult. This bill is ensuring that we are spotlighting new opportunities for older workers and using the benefit of all of the information that we have as a state to benefit them. And I would encourage an aye vote.
Representative Luck.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the comments that were just made. It's very helpful. But I am curious with the comments that the other bill sponsor made about this providing protections in the employment arena. I'm just wondering what the intersection, if any, of CATA, which has provisions related to age discrimination, has with this bill, because the way that it was being received by me was that somehow we're adding additional layers of protections as opposed to what was just outlined. So wanting to better understand the other bill sponsors' view on that particular question.
Any further discussion? Representative Bottoms.
Thank you, Chair. I do think it's important to note just some of the remarks around the bill, not the bill itself. We've really gotten away from the bill, even mostly from the bill sponsors. There was a few statements made that there are many older adults that are being left out of these committees, out of these boards, overlooked by these committees and these boards, and I'd like some good hard evidence. How many older people have been overlooked by a board, say in the last year? How many older people, these are direct questions to the sponsors. How many older people, and I'm saying 55, I don't like to use the word older on 55 because I am 55, but how many 55 and above have been somehow pushed off to the side? Do we have any evidence, or is this completely anecdotal? Because this bill seems to be looking for a problem with a predetermined solution. Is this a great cry out in the board arena and in the arena of these advisory boards? Is this a major cry from the community that I'm 56 and I've been pushed off of this board or not allowed on this board. I'd like to see some evidence for that. But then also, I do think it's interesting to note that the reason the economy is so bad in our state is because of the side that's brought the bill. So this is, again, I don't remember who said this, but one of our representatives a few days ago said this is the same as breaking their legs and then offering them a crutch. This is what we're doing here. And here's something else to note that seems to be lost on my generation, generations below. Social Security was never intended to carry all of your finances. Social Security was supposed to be something that helped out a little bit when you were older. It was never intended to pay all your bills. The reason that it is collapsing is because we've turned it into something that it was never designed to be. And that is a complete retirement fund. It was never intended to be that. So I would like to see, all of this evidence for all of these older people that are being kept off of these boards. Numbers, data, anything like that.
Any further discussion? Bill sponsored, Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the feedback and the comments today. Vote yes, please.
All right, Representative Kelty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I wanted to clear up something that my colleague from Colorado Springs just mentioned. Social Security was not meant to be something that someone had to completely depend on. But unfortunately, with the rising prices, everything else going up but Social Security, it has. So if a senior individual wants to go back out in the workforce and be represented and be able to feel safe about being able to get a job and use their expertise that they've worked so hard for, then they should be able to. But we're finding things where it's becoming more and more difficult. Talk to a senior citizen. Talk to someone who's in their 70s and 80s who's had the problems. Because I can tell you, we heard from a lot of them in committee. It is a problem. It doesn't hurt to have our voice as senior citizens and older than myself. I mean, I barely make the cut, but I'm still there. And I understand what they're going through. I'm in the workforce. I have a job. And I see what's going on. And I feel for them. Because those are the same things that go through my mind. When if I want to go to another position, or maybe I won't stretch it too far, or quit that job and try to move somewhere else. It's a reality. Senior ageism is a reality. Is it illegal for discrimination? Yep. Does it happen? Yes. But it's nice to know what we can do to bring our senior citizens up to the point to where maybe they're not on Social Security and draining it anymore. Maybe they don't have to do Medicaid and drain that anymore. They want to be active. They want to do things. If you don't use it, you lose it. And I don't want to lose my senior citizens. I want to keep them around. And I want them to be able to have strong, productive lives, just like you guys have. So to have them represented on a board, one person on a board that says, hey, have you thought about it from an 80-year-old's perspective? Because I can tell you, even I would probably struggle a little bit on someone who's 80 or 85 who still wants to work. I'm like, you should be on a beach somewhere. Well, they can't afford that because they're on a fixed income and everything else is going up around them. Let senior citizens be represented. That's all we ask. Thank you.
Seeing no further questions, the question before us is passage of House Bill 1010. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. All right, the ayes have it. House Bill 1010 passes. Mr. Schiebel, could you please read the title to House Bill 1031?
House Bill 1031 by Representatives Soper and Martinez, also Senators Roberts and Catlin, concerning protections for certain agricultural products grown in Colorado.
All right, Representative Martinez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's an honor to serve with you.
Ditto.
I move House Bill 26-1031.
To the bill. Yeah, Representative Soper.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to my co-prime sponsor, Representative Martinez. Members, this is the bill you've probably heard all about. It's our bill to add to our consumer protection laws the fact that we want to protect grown in Colorado fruits and produce. We have a problem that's been emerging over the last number of years, and that's counterfeit fruits and vegetables are entering the Colorado market. We have different individuals who are either trying to take advantage of getting an early start in the market, whether it's a farmer's market or the grocery store, and they'll bring in things like peaches in April and try to tell you they're Palisade peaches. We all know that's impossible because that's not peach season. But Coloradans will pay a premium for grown in Colorado. And so we want to specifically call out in our consumer protection laws that this behavior is wrong, and we will not tolerate it. Also laid out in the bill, we have a Colorado Proud program, which is our state's trademark to be able to identify fruits and produce as being Colorado grown. And that's also been misused, to be able to add some teeth, to be able to finally enforce the Colorado Proud logo and to actually have it mean something, that if someone uses that logo, that certification mark without authorization, that the state now has the ability to tell that person no.
Okay. Representative Martinez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Really, what is the crux of this bill? This is making sure that we are supporting our local producers, making sure that we are supporting our citizens, because again, as my good co-prime from Delta County has said, is that we really want to make sure that we are protecting Colorado-grown products, and we want to make sure that those the consumers, the people here in Colorado, know what they're buying, and making sure that it actually is the product that it says it is. And I think that not only helps out the economy, it adds assurances for our citizen base, and again, and assurances for our producers that we're supporting them. So this is a really good bill. This came out of our year-long Committee of Water Resources Ag Review Committee. This came out of committee pretty well and unanimously, and we want to make sure that we're bringing this to the floor to you, and we hope that you'll join us in voting yes.
Representative Soper.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I did want to lay one more thing for the record. And that's this is now going to be the state corollary to the Federal Perishable Agricultural Commodities Act of 1930. So we're making sure that we're giving state tools as well.
Okay, further discussion on the bill. Representative Sukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So in committee, there was a question asked, and I was hoping that the sponsors of the bill could clarify it a little more now that they've had a little time to digest it. And that question was, which I like the premise of this bill. There's an organization called RCAP, which is promoting a country of origin and labeling, which we've been trying to do in the beef industry for years. Anyway, the question is I have some farms that they're a continuous farm, but half of them are in Colorado and half of them are in Arizona. The one that I can think of in Colorado that is it's an orchard, and so half of the orchard is in Colorado, half of it, and then the rows are a straight line going into Utah. So how would this bill work if you start picking the peaches and then you get to the middle of the row? What would happen with the fruit that's on the other side in Utah? Can you clarify that?
Representative Soper.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to my good colleague from the West Slope for the question. It's a great question. So first of all, you're obliged to follow the laws under the jurisdiction where you're located. But this doesn't affect the actual growing. So if you're going down the row, let's say it's peaches, picking peaches, and then you cross the state line from Colorado into Utah, you're still picking peaches. Where the bill takes effect is at a farmer's market or a grocery store. If you proceed to put a big label that says Colorado peaches when half the bin is Utah peaches, then you would be in violation of the consumer protection part. So what I would tell that particular producer is if you don't want to stop at the state line, then you would just need to say something to the effect of these were locally grown or they were Southwest grown peaches, but to specifically say they're Colorado grown peaches is inaccurate, and there are other ways to be able to do that. Or just not say anything. They're just fresh peaches.
Representative Luck.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, bill sponsors, for this bill. I am going to propose an amendment so that we can talk about another issue that relates to this. So I move amendment L001 to House Bill 1031 and ask that it be displayed.
That is a proper motion. Give us one moment. L001's before us. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And so this bill, as currently written, applies to plants, fruits, vegetables, or fungus. And as I was reading this bill, I was reminded of the numerous beehives that have popped up in my district and honey producers that are producing here in Colorado. And so I wanted to add in honey. And so I texted one of the bill sponsors and asked about it and whether it's just his own personality or because he knew his audience. He let me know it was a sticky situation, which got a laugh out of this kid right here. I was really appreciative of that. I'm sorry, I didn't really steal your joke. I said it came from you. Consumer protection bill. Okay, it is consumer protection, but I did protect you. I gave you the credit for it. In any case, I did want to bring this forward, and I thought the best way to have this conversation was through an amendment so that there couldn't be any sort of statement about this not being specifically to the bill. But it is important, I believe, to add honey into the products that are protected. As you guys know, if we are not encouraging our pollinators to continue to pollinate, then we have a lot of other agricultural issues and life issues before us. And since my time, since I started here, we have talked about pollinators in a number of different contexts, all the way to license plates, because we recognize the importance of the little bees and the honey that they make. And so I thought it was important to protect that particular industry and to incentivize that particular industry with this kind of protection. Now, not wanting to be accused of stealing any other ideas, I am going to step aside and allow the bill sponsor to explain why this is problematic and sticky.
Representative Soper.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to my good colleague from Fremont County for the amendment and the conversation. I like a good sticky situation, that's for sure. Members, first of all, the bill's title is Concerning Protections for Certain Agricultural Products Grown in Colorado. You can argue that honey is not something that can be grown. That's one argument. The more complex argument is honey and beekeeping throughout our state, as I've learned in the last 4 weeks, is very, very complex. We talked to the state property tax administrator, Keith Erfmeyer, and he said that for at least property tax purposes, honey and beekeeping does not qualify as an agricultural product and does not qualify for the agricultural classification for taxes. Maybe this is a hint to our leadership for a late bill title to fix this. But certainly honey is one of those areas that has been very difficult for really smart people in our state to be able to deal with. And that's because honey is, it's not livestock. Bees are not livestock. Honey is not necessarily a produced or manufactured product because humans aren't doing it, but yet that is that final product. They are important to the agricultural ecosystem and even to our natural ecosystem because we need pollinators. But understanding where bees fit in, because we know they're not plants, they don't have roots, they're not livestock that we're selling the meat from or garnering a secondary byproduct from them. So they have definitely troubled a lot of really smart people, and they are very much in a gray area that, while it doesn't fit under the title of the bill, I do appreciate the amendment because I do believe we need to have this conversation about honey. And if we're really serious about having more beekeepers within our state for more pollination, we need to talk really serious about making sure, A, we can protect Colorado produced honey, but that we can also have the larger conversation about having maybe a tax classification that says that beekeeping is more in line with agriculture than the production of widgets, which is how they're currently classified.
Representative Martinez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This topic has generated a lot of buzz for throughout community and on the floor.
That's a stinger.
It does sting. What I would say is, I think in all seriousness, the beekeeping industry has been very complex as it pertains to agriculture. And I think it is worth the deep dive into looking at what that is and how that fits into the agricultural industry. I don't know if we can have that conversation and that fix within this piece of legislation. I do appreciate the amendment, and if we can make those changes, I think at a later date we can look at adding this in once we address the issue in itself of the beekeeping industry with agriculture.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment? Representative Luck.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you both for the conversation, putting it on the mic, raising the issue for the body as well as for those listening in. And on behalf of my son, who is absolutely adoring the Up, Down, Touch the Ground, in the Mood for Food Winnie the Pooh song right now, who loves honey, thank you.
Representative Martinez.
We use your no vote on the amendment.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of L001 to House Bill 1031. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The noes have it. The amendment fails. To the bill, is there any further discussion on House Bill 1031? Seeing none, the question before us is its passage. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1031 passes. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1024.
House Bill 1024 by Representative Kelty, also Senator Frizzell, concerning raising the age of a child who may be voluntarily relinquished from 72 hours old to 30 days old or younger.
Representative Ryden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1024 on second reading.
To the Health and Human Services Committee report. I'm sorry, Representative Ryden, can you please move the bill and the committee report?
And I move the committee report and request a vote of no.
Let's do the whole motion again. If you can move House Bill 1024 and the Health and Human Services Committee report.
All right, I move House Bill 1024 and the committee report, and I request a no on the committee report.
To the committee report. Is there any discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the Health and Human Services Committee report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The noes have it. The Health and Human Services Committee report fails. To the bill.
Thank you. I move Amendment L004 to 1024 and ask that it be properly displayed.
That is a proper motion. Give us one moment. L004 is before us. Please proceed. Representative Ryden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This just clarified on the amendment we had in the committee, and we got to full consensus, but I will defer to my colleague to tell you a little bit more about the bill itself.
Is there any further discussion on L004? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of L004 to House Bill 1024. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. L004 passes. To the bill, Representative Kelty.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, members. Today we introduce HB 261024, otherwise known as the Colorado Safe Haven Bill. This legislation created in compassion, realism, and respect for both mother and child. This bill makes one critical and human change. It extends the time a mother has to safely relinquish her baby from 72 hours to 30 days. That change matters deeply. The first few days after childbirth are not calm or clear. They are intense. A mother's body is flooded with hormones and often distress. She's exhausted, physically recovering, and emotionally overwhelmed, and sometimes processing fear, shame, or isolation. Medical professionals will tell you that the first week postpartum is one of the most vulnerable periods in a woman's life. Yeah, under current law, we ask her to make one of the most consequential decisions she may ever face within just 72 hours of giving birth. HB 261024 acknowledges reality. It recognizes that decisions made in a rush or crisis are not always wise decisions. By extending the safe haven window to 30 days, we give mothers time for hormones to stabilize, for shock to subside, for clarity to emerge, especially if there was previous trauma leading to that conception. This bill does not pressure a mother to keep a child. It does not remove previous care responsibility. It does not create risk. It eases it. Instead, it reduces trauma. Forcing a rush decision during an already traumatic, sometimes chaotic moment can leave lifelong emotional scars, regret, guilt, and unresolved grief. This bill gives mothers the dignity of reflection and the space to choose what is truly best for themselves and their baby. Most importantly, this bill strengthens the very purpose of safe haven laws, protecting life. When women know they are not trapped by an impossible clock, they are more likely to seek help rather than act out in panic or desperation. This bill sends a clear message. Colorado understands, Colorado supports, and Colorado chooses compassion over haste. Giving a mother 30 days, up to 30 days, instead of just 72 hours is not radical. It is reasonable, it is humane, and it is wise.
Representative Wrighton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My colleague here brought this bill to our committee last year, and I was curious about it, but I didn't know enough about it, and I didn't feel confident enough last year voting in favor of it. But since then, I have done more research and met with different groups to truly understand what the impact would be. I was deeply concerned that there could be harm done in some way that we just hadn't thought of. But I'm pleased to report that I've met with all those groups. We've landed in a good place on some language to add further protections so that I know we are valuing choice of the parent in that moment of crisis. I encourage an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on the bill? Representative Bradley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I come in strong support of this bill. Love that it's a bipartisan effort. I know the good representative from El Paso brought this last year and was devastated when it died. You know, there's 34 states that support this. Colorado is only one of 6 states that still is limited to 72 hours. Last year, I think they said in the fiscal note, only 7 babies were relinquished last year. And then great testimony that we heard from Mental Health Colorado and several other people that came to support that postpartum can last for several weeks. And in our rural communities where 72 hours is not enough time, if there's a snowstorm, if there are bad roads, whatnot, this will help the rural moms that are having a really hard time have the opportunity to think about things and not make a rush decision. This is a great bill, it's great policy, and I, again, appreciate the bipartisanship. I will be a strong yes, thank you.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1024? Seeing none, the question before us is its passage. All those in favor say aye. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1024 passes. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1023.
House Bill 1023 by Representative Luck, also Senator Baisley, concerning clarification of a political party's liability for certain accessibility requirements related to ballot access for persons with disabilities.
No. Yeah.
Representative Luck.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I move House Bill 1023 and the committee report.
To the committee report.
Which I am finding. So in committee, we made some amendments as a result of conversations with interested parties. The amendments boil down to 2 things. One, liability will now rest with the entity that planned the particular caucus and assembly, and the liability will be limited to basically a $3,500 fine per infraction. Those are the major changes that we made in committee. I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the State Civic, Military, and Veterans Affairs Committee report to House Bill 1023. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee report passes. To the bill. Representative Luck.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill is a cleanup bill from 2024-1067, House Bill 24-1067, which allowed folks with disabilities to be able to access caucus and assembly by providing a particular mechanism, i.e. either video conferencing or teleconferencing into those meetings. That bill had some gray areas in it that leaves folks who plan caucus and assembly in a place of concern about liability. It also allowed for a gray area related to who could participate, whether that was someone who was an otherwise eligible elector or whether it was anyone, anywhere, at any time. And so we're just cleaning up some of those concerns so that caucuses and assemblies can move forward and so that the disability community can continue to be able to access this all-important meeting set.
One moment, Representative. All the professional yappers, please take your conversations to the side. It's another one for my children. We have members that are having a hard time hearing. Representative Woodrow.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is an honor to serve with you.
And an honor to serve with you, sir.
Members, I assure you, notwithstanding what it shows on the board, I am on this bill, and I want to thank Representative Luck for inviting me to join her. I always, have loved and respected the caucus and assembly process. Having attended several of them, like many of you, I know it is a tremendous form of civic and community engagement, especially in the age of the internet. Being able to meet like-minded neighbors face-to-face is simply invaluable. At the same time, we recognize that not everyone can attend. People who work certain jobs, have children, et cetera, they can't always make it in person. And then there are folks who are part of the disability community. And a couple sessions ago, we did a really good job of expanding access. Unfortunately, we have heard concerns that with the expansion of access, there have been implementation and liability concerns. Caucuses rely on volunteers, and exposing certain folks who volunteer to potential liability risks dissuading them from stepping up. This bill seeks to shield individuals from liability and push it onto the county or state party responsible for hosting the caucus or assembly. Before I ask for an aye vote on the bill, I do want to move L005 and ask that it be properly displayed.
That is a proper motion.
Just for the sake of clarity, not only do I want to move L005, I do move L005.
Excellent. Well done. Please proceed, Representative.
You're welcome, Madam Chair.
Representative Woodrow, please proceed.
Thank you. Folks, this amendment is very simple. There's a section of the act where we moved subsection C into subsection B, and in doing so, there is some question as to whether what the scope is of the new subsection B, and we just want to make sure that when it refers to person on page 3, line 7, we're talking about people in unserved areas. We ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of L005 to House Bill 1023. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. L005 passes. To the bill. Representative Luck.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, committee. We appreciate your time and attention. Again, we believe that this particular bill strikes the right balance between allowing folks to access the caucus and assembly in full while also minimizing the risk to particular individuals who may otherwise feel unable to serve for fear of things going awry. So we thank you for your aye vote.
Representative Woodrow.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good bill, vote yes. Appreciate the bipartisan effort. Representative Luck, it is an honor to serve with you these past several years, and I really appreciate getting to work on a bill together. Thank you.
Representative Luck.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and same. Thank you, Representative Woodrow.
Love that. Representative Richardson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a good bill. I appreciate the sponsors for bringing it and the bipartisan nature. I did a few years as a precinct committee person. I've run a few caucuses. I spent a little time as a county party secretary. For those that haven't been intimately involved other than showing up at assembly and working through the process, a caucus begins with neighbors coming together, and the first action they take after a little bit of conversation and perhaps coffee is to elect a chair and a secretary for that meeting. So it's very possible that the person running a caucus just happened to show up and was elected, doesn't have training, and we don't want people to feel that they're at some legal risk by just doing their civic duty. So I think this bill pushes any potential liabilities up to kind of the more professional level of a party organization, and I think it's entirely appropriate and urge a yes vote.
AML Winter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm also getting up in support of this bill. As I travel throughout my district and talk to the different people that represent their people, this was a huge issue that they were worried about. This is a fix that they asked for. And this is, you know, I think there's a lot of times in this building I'll get up here and complain a little bit, but I think this is one of those times that we've stepped in and we've really fixed an issue that is affecting, I would say, rural Colorado more adversely. And thank you both for trying to bridge the rural-urban divide, and I will be a yes.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1023? Seeing none, the question before us is its passage. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1023 passes. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
You have heard the motion. Seeing no objection, the committee will. Wow. The committee will rise and report.
We good? Okay. The House will come back to order. Mr. Shebel, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, your Committee of the Whole begs leave to report is under consideration the following attached bills being the second reading thereof and making the following recommendations thereon. House Bills 1010 is amended, 1023 is amended, 1024 is amended, and 1031 passed on second reading, ordered, engrossed, and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Representative Zokai. You have heard the motion. There are no amendments at the desk. If there's no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine. Members, please proceed to vote. Members, we are voting. Representatives Bradfield, English. Please close the machine. With 42 aye, 22 no, and 1 excused, the report of the Committee of the Whole is adopted. Madam Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, I move to proceed out of order for consideration of Senate amendments to House bills.
Seeing no objection, we'll proceed out of order for consideration of Senate amendments to House bills. Mr. Shebel, please read the title of House Bill 261166.
House Bill 1166 by Representative Sirota, also Senator Bridges, concerning a supplemental appropriation to the Department of Public Safety.
Representatives Brown and Taggart. Representative Sirota.
It's me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I move that the House concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1166.
Please tell us about your regrettable choice.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. The appropriation was removed in the Senate, and for the amendment that was added here, further discussion will be had in order to address the testing backlog, and then 2 additional technical amendments were added in the Senate.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion before us is to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 261166. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine, and members, please proceed to vote.
Just one. Just one.
Please close the machine. With 61 aye, 3 no, and 1 excused, the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1166 is adopted. Madam Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, I move for the repassage of House Bill 1166 as amended.
The motion before us is the repassage of House Bill 1166 as amended. Mr. Shebel, please open the machine. Members, please proceed to vote. Please close the machine. With 62 aye, 2 no, and 1 excused, House Bill 1166 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Any announcements and introductions? Seeing none. Majority Leader Duran.
Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, I move to lay over the balance of the calendar till Thursday, February 26, 2026.
Seeing no objection, the balance of the calendar will be laid over until February 26th. Majority Leader Duran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. I move the House stand in recess until later today.
The House will stand in recess until later today.